Hey, this is EzeakioDarmey. I'm back for now. Just want to hop back into the Division. The Underground DLC has released yesterday. Now, this is the first actual DLC for the game that is not considered a free update. You will either have to purchase this through your Xbox Live or PlayStation Network store, or if you have the Season Pass, just click download. Why does it automatically download? I don't know. Okay, now, one thing you will notice from the shop I just went into that you have a rank for Underground, same way as you do for the Dark Zone. You have to complete missions in the Underground to rank up. Now, after a short quarantine mission, you will be directed directly to the Underground area where you'll have to set up a mission, or operation as the game calls it, at the table. There are various settings you can pick from. Some settings have a level requirement, and as you go into them, you can also pick multiple stage missions, which will either have one objective, two objectives, or sometimes three objectives, which can vary depending on the missions. You have no way of actually choosing what the objectives are, and then you can also add modifiers, which you get equipped by using directive intel. You use one intel every time you use these modifiers, and they do increase your experience a bit, and they can also change what you earn from the mission just by doing them. Now, every time you rank up in the Underground, you get a cache, which you can open up after you get it. And this can have everything from weapons to armor to even the emerald gear, the set gear pieces. This is actually a alternative for players who either can't do the incursions just yet, or just don't want to do them at all, to get better gear to level up. Now, the one thing that I've noticed after playing this a few times is that the actual map itself, it's the same. No matter how many missions you play through, it's the same map, but the way they make you go through it is randomized every time. Now, this can either seem weak, or it can just seem, usual for more casual players these days. Personally, I find it's kind of a lack of creativity for how long it took to actually have this thing come out. Now, you'll get these little cutscenes at the beginning and the end of each operation or mission or whatever the hell you choose to call it. And it's a nice little touch. Honestly, I wish they would add more cutscenes into the game to kind of get more of a storytelling element to it. And in case you screwed up and didn't grab ammo before you begin the mission, you can pick it up right here at the beginning every time. There's about 3 to 4 ammo boxes if you just pick a regular normal mission. And depending on what modifiers you choose, you might need them a lot. I picked the one where there's no radar, so eventually if you play in the group, you want at least one person running pulse. As you can see, I've screwed up and left on my shield, so I'll just take a moment to go ahead and put my pulse on so I can know where the hell anybody is without being shot first. Now, this particular mission has me activating generators and then defending them until either I kill all the enemies or the JTF arrives. Now, there'll be certain things as you progress through these missions. There'll be signal disruptors, which basically keep you from activating any abilities that involve you pushing your shoulder buttons at all. You can still use health kits, you can still toss grenades, but as far as like your sticky bombs or your first aid, you just can't use them until you destroy the area, the disruptor causing you to have it, or you actually just leave the area. Unfortunately, none of the enemy AI have abilities that require that are prevented by the disruptor, so they can still toss grenades and kill you with one shot, no problem. Now, on the hard and challenging things, it's just like running the Lincoln Tunnel checkpoint where the snipers can one-shot you if you are not careful. Doing a normal, it feels underwhelming. It's like running a strike on normal, not hard or anything. So if you just want a little bit of a challenge, run it on hard. It'll be like doing your daily missions as far as level difficulty. Now, you're going to find eventually the hallways that have fire or electrical shocks running through them, which will fuck you up moderately if you just walk through them. Fire, you can just roll a couple times, get off of it. But if you're actually paying enough attention, there are ways to turn off or disable these hazardous elements. Fire blocking your pathway typically has some pipe over it that you can shoot, which releases a gas or a coolant. The electrical wires sprawling across your wet floor, there's a switch usually nearby that you can push and turn that off. If you know what you're looking for, there's actually locked doors that require lock pits, which can have a box with additional gear. And there's also usually various boxes you can get materials from, which are, from my experience, have always been high-end materials. Matchmaking has been very hit or miss as far as finding an actual good group. But, my biggest complaint about this whole thing would probably just be, one, there's not a lot of creativity when it comes to how this was put out. Again, it's just a randomized path through the same map over and over again. The bosses, it's like the Dark Zone. They and everywhere else now, they drop a guaranteed high end. Sometimes they drop set gear, but it's usually not at a level that is worth your time. Usually, if you're getting set gear, you'll get the best stuff out of the caches from whenever you rank up in the underground. Set gear for me dropping has been consistently at gear score 268, which is kind of fun. I'm not a particularly huge fan of some of the new gear sets, like Firecrest. It's all about using incendiary ammo and killing things that are on fire. There's not, unless that's your usual playstyle, it doesn't really work too well in your favor. Given the constraints on ammo sometimes, you might want to go with the Lone Star, because just having 2 pieces of gear doubles your ammo capacity. And personally, I would have liked to have seen more along the lines of newer weapons, but that has nothing to do with this particular DLC, because the last batch of weapons that came out was with the most recent incursion. Again, when you're on the harder difficulties, you're faced with bullet spongy enemies, which have almost no impact from your weapons. You'll have one shotgunner, which if you're not careful can go through your entire group. Which is really the only downside to having the radar turned off with your modifiers, because literally an AI can walk up behind you and you won't know it until he pops you in the back of the head. But again, this is something that, for being an actual paid DLC, this is not the I repeat, this is not the free updates that we've been getting with incursions. This is a paid DLC, which again, it feels extremely sparse in the amount of actual content you have. The underground area has one vendor, which requires Phoenix credits. It also does not have a crafting section, which could probably be a problem, because you have to actually go through a lengthy loading screen as you go walk up the elevator back to the main map. It's a whole separate map. But like I said, on the plus side, this is a alternative to getting gear for those that either can't do the incursions or just don't want to. But like I said, everybody has their own opinion on what makes makes things in this game good or what makes it bad. Also, at the end of every fucking mission, I'm getting all tongue-tied here now. I apologize. There is usually a box, if not always a box. I promise you, I most likely missed it at the end of this particular mission, and it's also another piece of high-end gear or set gear. So there's at least about, on an average, between 4 to 5 high-end items that you can get from this each mission, depending on what modifiers and settings you have. Unfortunately, a lot of the guns that have dropped from me that are high-end have been gear score 163 on hard. I've done challenging once. It was probably the most annoying experience I've ever seen. And once you hit underground rank 20, heroic opens up, and I have not done that yet because I'm just not high enough. But I can imagine it's probably a hell on earth. It might be worse than all three of the conversions combined. And like I said, here's the last generator for this particular mission. This one's just defend until JTF arrives, and you'll see at the end of this little of the third wave that one of the guys is stuck inside of one of the spawn rooms and just doesn't come out. And Ubisoft being Ubisoft, I guess. Eventually, the game realizes it and just I guess auto kills him. And then at the end of each thing, you'll pick up your gear, and then you'll open a door, which just drops you back off at the main hub area. For players that are in groups, if you leave your group at the hub area, there's no loading screen. But if you join a group, you go through a loading screen. And then that's assuming you aren't kicked from the group, which has been an issue as of late, I guess. But anyway, I'll just go ahead and wrap up my commentary here and just let you guys finish watching the rest of this particular mission. Thanks for watching, and I apologize in advance, but for some reason there is a problem on YouTube right now where I am not able to see comments on my videos. If you've left a comment, I've gotten a notification for it, but unfortunately, whenever I try to load up the app to check the comment, it does not allow. It's just not there. I don't want you to think that I'm ignoring you. For some reason, there's just a problem in the system, and I cannot see the comments to either see them or even respond to them. You can always go to my Twitter to comment to me directly. There's no problem with my Twitter account. It's the same name as I have on YouTube, and it's even the same logo, so it should be easy to find. But that being all, have a great day. This is EzeakioDarmey out.